Hi everyone, this is Debbie Schramer again, and I'd like to share with you some of my poems that I've written poetry since I was 11, and I just have hundreds of poems, and so this is a small book I compiled called Voices in the Garden, and so I'll be reading some poems from this little book I wrote. I just wanted to show you our beautiful cat Duffy. He's a really pretty cat. And he likes people, so yeah. Okay, this is a poem that I wrote called Is It Far Away? And I'd like to read this to you now. Is it far away, the land of God? A little child asked. When will God return? The swallows echoed in the night. Why must people die? A mournful cry came from out in the sky, a mournful cry. How did it all come about? Everything, God. How did you make everything? Came the voice of the scholar, the father, the babe in arms, even the tiniest spider in God's forest. Then, when all had fallen silent, when all had grown still, when no more questions pierced the night, God spoke. I created it all with the power of love. My love for you, my love for my children. And God sat down and wept. He called to the skies to tell them how he had dreamt one night of a beautiful place where birds could soar and eyes could dream, watching the velvet night as it sang to the rivers, as it sang to the sleeping children all over the world. God wept, and he called to the flowers. He told them how he had been touched by a spirit so soft one day as he walked alone in a field. He wondered why he was so alone, and then Heavenly Mother quietly, gently walked into the field, bringing flowers, armfuls of flowers to God, flowers for God. God stopped to find something to fill this world, to take away the emptiness. His eyes filled with tears, and songs filled his heart that day, so long ago, when time began, and gifts showered the earth. So that's one poem that I wrote, and I'll share some other ones with you soon. Thank you. Hello again, it's Debbie Schramer. This is another poem I would like to read to you. I don't really title my poems very often. It's about Einstein though, so. Okay, Einstein, a child-like man whose voice touched the air, with such of another land, his homeland. Where did he whisper to God when he was young? His questions were beams of light up to heaven. I look and wonder as God speaks to Einstein of atoms and galaxies and equations, a gentle world yet filled with streaks of cosmic fusions, stars in orchestra and chorus. Einstein looked about the universe with quiet, humorous curiosity, his shoes taking his feet towards a horizon of heaven and angels. What he understood, his words were soft seashells in our pockets. To return to the garden, we were not empty-handed. Okay, this is another poem I would like to read to you. This one here. This is kind of a play on words. It's a short poem, but okay. Wherewithal. If I have the wherewithal, does where have it all? Waiting larger than when or why? Why does where live in such a large word? Waiting, does it wait for me at all? But if I have the wherewithal, I would that I would seek the platitudes of what and who. I wouldn't wait for them or you, but stand tall with all of who. my neighboring sky of which I sing, those whose bright stars my heart doth bring. Wherewithal, oh wherewithal, night that seeks the holier night, waiting for the sun's bright sight, I love the sky and all its wheres and whos, those great bright earths and moons of sight. Okay, this is another poem I would like to read to you about Italy. The lovely Umbrian hills of wild herbs and flowers, weathered stone buildings and dark medieval streets. Umbria that lies deep in the dense wooded hills, where streams fall gently away to the astonishing palatial valley below. The rugged paths follow echoes of history and distant remembered voices. The people of Umbria's past lived quiet, gentle lives, planting their seedlings in small trees, tending their goats and rabbits. How sweet and tender their lives must have been. Okay, this is the last poem that I'll read for now. I write a lot about nature and flowers and animals and children, spiritual things too. So, if I were a mountain, my heart would be a rose whose subtle fragrance would sing out to every valley, every sleeping cloud. My heart would sleep with lilies and soar with great blue herons. My soul would fall in yearning memories of the garden, of the field where I lay dreaming of the softness of the clouds of air. I would listen deeply to the stillness, hearing a tiny, delicate spider crawling underground, a young sparrow hurrying in its flight home. I would hear its amazing wings fluttering, fluttering, speeding the gentle bird onward, its comforting solace in its gentle, fragile wings. If I were a silken summer lake where tiny, frightened fish dart back and forth in the cloudy gray water, my voice would speak quietly with the presence of gentle mothers and kindly grandmothers, laughing grandfathers, and old, tall wooden clocks, ticking, ticking, unafraid of the lapsing of time, the moments falling into other moments, for these are most precious when one finds that space in time that is like a gift, handed to you from someone unseen, and yet you know that the gift is for you, and it is fine that you have it. It is the child within you who smiles when the imagination is exceeded and life seems to go beyond expectations. It is the child who watches the tiny, frightened fish darting, talking with their unheard language and their bubbles unseen. It is the child within who knows and loves the mother, the grandmother, the grandfather, the old, tall wooden clock, and the smiling child walks self-assured, confident, ready for gifts to fall into a small, laughing hand.